Good evening. I'm Brett Holden. I'm joined with the host of the Tuesday Night Sports Show, Greg Buchanan. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start off with the Bobcats. It was a busy weekend for them this weekend, but 2 losses for them.
Yeah, 2 losses, 2 games where if you believe in moral victories, they're moral victories. But at this time of the season, when you only have 3 wins in 10 games, there's no such thing as moral victories. The game against Bonnyville, you have to feel for them. A good crowd at home. They have a lead. They give up the lead. Bonnyville comes back, takes the lead, and then Lloyd scores with 1.5 minutes left on the power play, ties it up. The rink is jumping. Looks like they're going to overtime. What happens? And they always talk in hockey. After a goal, the next shift is the big shift. Bonnyville has a big shift. They score with just about 30 seconds left. They win it. And sometimes good teams, and they're 8-2, Bonnyville, they find ways to win. Bad teams, unfortunately, when you're struggling, you find ways to lose. Bobcats found a way to lose.
Absolutely, and I mean there were definitely bright spots for them. Ziegler and Scantlebury with 2 points, and Meager had 27 shots on net. I mean 23 saves. But what are kind of some things, as you mentioned, it's a good team.
Yeah.
5-4. I know it's a late loss. A loss is a loss. Yeah. But what are kind of some of the things that you think the Bobcats can build off of an experience like this?
You know what? You can build off. You took a team that is 8-2. You took a team to within, a shot of going to overtime. You had your chances to win the game outright even before then. So you take that as a building block. You take, like you said, you have a good young goaltender. You have a Hunter Lamb, who's a sensational player. Get out and watch his kid play. He's great. So you have some good young core. You have Zach Kaiser, the guy that kind of the straw that stirs that drink for the Bobcats. But they have a lot of building blocks here. It's important at this time of the season. I know just 3 wins in 10 games. Don't get too discouraged. And in hockey, in any sport, you have to have a short memory. So whatever happened Friday, put it behind you. Get ready. Short Park comes to town, then they go to Fort Mac for a pair. So that's a big 3 games.
And with those, the game against Bonnyville and the next game as well, they are going to be missing Drew Workentime with the two-game suspension. That's a big loss for the team.
Huge loss for the team, but at the same time, it's next up, who's going to step up. Here's a chance for a young kid to maybe in the lineup that isn't getting a lot of ice time, that he's going to step up and get that kind of ice time. And you hope that maybe that inspires some other kids that are, maybe on that 3rd or 4th line to step up.
Something, too, that I wanted to mention was one of the big things that you brought up as well was the shift after a goal is a big shift. No. Now in Sherwood Park, 6 seconds after a goal for the Bobcats that tied the game for them, William Zappernick just cleaned the clock of our defenseman and put it home. Yeah,
and that you see that happen so many times, and all the hockey teams I've been involved in, and that's what you're yelling to the players all the time. Be prepared. Whether it's a goal against us or a goal for us, the next shift is going to be a big one. And we saw it in the Bonnyville game. We saw it the night before. And you can tell it's the kids all the time. And even in the NHL, they get caught with it, that they're not prepared. And it's just simple little assignments. Keep it simple. Get the puck out. And when you have a lead, it's north-south game. It's pucks in, pucks out. It's simple as that.
Beautiful. Well, Bucky will be back with us in just a little bit, but let's head to break. Welcome back. I am joined once again by Greg Buchanan, the host of the Tuesday Night Sports Show, and we're going to be talking about a little bit NHL and CFL, but first let's talk about the Oilers. It has not been an ideal start for a team who's supposed to be kind of the team.
Yeah, you know what? Is it too early to say, the game on the weekend against the Rangers is a must-win? I know it's 3 games into the season. You're going, must-win? Are you kidding me? But it was a must-win because if they go into New York and they lose there, then they go into Winnipeg tomorrow night playing against the Jets. The Jets could be a President's Trophy candidate. And then the next 6 games after that get tough. You got Nashville twice. You got Pittsburgh, Washington, Boston, Chicago, Minnesota, all teams 100 points or more potentially this year. So it ain't easy. But Connor McDavid, again, kind of dragged that team on his back, pulled them through that win against the Rangers. That's a big win, but now it's going to be tough in Winnipeg.
Absolutely. Connor McDavid has 5 points. He has points on all 5 of the goals for the Oilers this season, and this win was against a team who only has 1 win on the season. So is it kind of a panic button time, do you think?
Well, ask that question in 2 weeks. If they go 1-4, then yeah. And then I think there's not one person in that organization in hockey operations that feels safe. I think it goes up the top, it goes to the bench, it goes throughout. Because if they go 1-5 in their next 6 games, the panic button will be pushed. And right now they have no secondary scoring outside of 97. Draisaitl, I know he's been kind of the whipping boy right now, but he's got 3 points in 3 games. But there is no secondary scoring with that team right now. They keep on making the same mistakes in the back end defensively. They're turning the puck over in the neutral zone time and time again. They're not getting that puck deep, and it's resulting in goal after goal in their own net. And it's not on the goaltending. It's all about team right now. And until they get secondary scoring in Edmonton, and until they fix their problems in their back end, they're still going to have issues.
Yeah, and they do kind of look flat. Let's head over to the CFL now. Pretty much crunch time here for the Western Conference teams, other than, I mean, if you're the Calgary Stampeders, but big weekend for both the Eskimos and the Rough Riders. Unfortunately, the Riders lost by a lot.
Yeah, 31-0 to Winnipeg, and I don't think anybody in Saskatchewan saw that coming. I don't think anybody in Winnipeg saw that coming. They were flatter than flat. There is some friends of mine that were at the game, and the interesting thing at the start of the game, Winnipeg comes out and they're bouncing off each other. The Riders come out and they're looking like going for a Sunday walk in the park because they walked out, there was no kind of excitement with them, and they played like that for the whole game. Saying that, the Stampeders lost. The Riders could have been 2 points back at first place if they came ready to play. It was nice to see the Eskimos bounce back against Ottawa because they really needed that after that loss in Regina.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Riley just threw like he had, and it was like a flu game.
Yep.
What's with it with Mike's and flu games? Right?
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes players play better when they're sick. I don't get it, but I kind of wonder if the Eskimos, if things don't go well in the next number of games, and they don't get in the playoffs, what happens for the head coach position? And I think Jason Moss's days in Edmonton, even if they make the playoffs, will be numbered.
Well, that's all we have time for. Thank you for joining us today, Bucky. And that's all we have.